Hello everyone and welcome. This is Dawn. I'm back with another video for you. Today I'll be using the Whimsy Stamps Pinwheel Stencil and the Slimline Envelope Edger die set. I'm going to use the rounded edger die that cuts out little diamonds. So let's get started. First I'm going to spray the back of the stencil with some pixie spray adhesive. This will help hold the stencil in place. I usually spray it inside of a box in a well-ventilated area, and I let it dry for a minute or so, and then I place it on my paper. I'll be using the Ranger Distress Matte Texture Paste today. I start by taking some of the paste on my spatula and I spread it on the stencil from side to side, always going in the same direction. I never go back and forth. And once I have the stencil completely covered, I use my stencil pal to make an even pass over the whole stencil. This part is optional, but I do find that it takes away any bumps and leaves it nice and smooth. I gently peel off the stencil and I set it aside to dry. Make sure to wash your stencil right away so the paste doesn't stick to it. After the paste has dried, I line the stencil back up on the paper where it was so that the paste is raised up through the little pinwheels. Then I'm going to use my Distress Oxide inks to make a rainbow pattern on the pinwheels. I start out using worn lipstick and I put a very light coat of the ink with my blending brush. Next I bring in spiced marmalade, then the squeezed lemonade, the cracked pistachio, and broken china. And lastly, the wilted violet. Once all the colors are down on the paper, then I just go back over the colors and I blend them together as I go. By doing this, it will actually create additional colors, so the colors actually blend all together much nicer. I very carefully pull the stencil off and you can see the array of colors on the pinwheels. I take a piece of blue cardstock and I line it up where I want the die to go, and then I run it through my die cut machine. Then I take the piece of blue cardstock and I put it on top of white cardstock and I line the die up where I want it to go. Then I tape it down and slide the blue cardstock out from under the die, and then I run it through my die cut machine. As you can see, it fits nice on top of the blue cardstock. I glue the white border panel to the blue border panel. I trim the pinwheel panel down to 4 by 5 1/4, and I take a piece of the same blue cardstock and I cut it down to 4 1/8 by 5 4/8, and then I glue the pinwheel panel to the blue cardstock. Once the border pieces are glued together, I trim them down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches to fit on top of the pinwheel panel. I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment Birthday Wishes from the Magical Birthday Wishes stamp set. I rub my paper with embossing powder bag and then stamp it with Versamark ink. And then I cover the sentiment with silver embossing powder. And when my heat tool is good and hot, I heat emboss the sentiment. I glue the pinwheel panel to a piece of cardstock folded to 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 inches. I wanted gems to go in the middle of the pinwheels, so I put the same colored gem as the pinwheel is, and then I glued them to the card with my liquid glue. Then I glued some gems around the sentiment, and to finish off the card, I cut out a heart from the same blue cardstock and adhered it to my card. Then I put some Nuvo crystal clear drops on the heart to give it some shine. And that completes my card for today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos and new product releases. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a wonderful day.